Hey, raindrops. It's our final love and marriage Huntsville recap for the season. Hey, you guys, I love all of you. I love you all. So, this is going to be a fun treat. I'm going to miss talking about my own shows. You know, to talk about your own shows is so groundbreaking and so yeah, this is our final love and marriage recap. We're gonna talk about part 3 reunion. I hope all of you had a great weekend. Okay, today is President's Day. Okay, so I know some of you had the day off. So I hope that you had, some time to reflect. Happy Black History Month as well. And in case you do celebrate this holiday or you have somebody, happy post Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day was this past Friday. I would love to see and have y'all comment how y'all weekend was on Valentine's Day. If you have a boo, what happened? If you don't have a boo, did you have a Galentine's? Okay. Or if you are number 2 in someone's life, do you celebrate on the 15th? These are things I really want to know. I want to ask Dustin about this. So if you are somebody's second choice and they may have a main one, do you get to celebrate Valentine's Day on the 14th? Because somebody told me that the February 15th is Valentine's Day for the number 2s. So I want to know if that's the case. So if you are number 2, which is fine, because there's no judgment here, please leave in the comments if you celebrate on the 15th. Does the main person get the 14th and you're cool getting the 15th? And with this being a holiday weekend, did you get the 15th, the 16th, and tonight? These are things we want to know. But nonetheless, happy Valentine's Day, happy President's Day, and happy Black History Month. So let me bring on somebody who fits all 3 of those things. The amazing person who actually, we're going to get into this. He has a live show coming up, okay, in March. But I want to have him talk about it. I'm so proud of him. Give it up for y'all favorite and mine too, Dustin Ross.
And my favorite place to be. You know, I love the rain down on me. I feel like Coco and them. You know what I'm saying? I love being amongst the raindrops. What's going on, man? Happy belated Valentine's Day.
Happy belated Valentine's Day. So what did you do?
Yes, it. That's what I did. Okay.
You did.
I had a great time. Yeah, I did it. The horizontal polka, whatever you want to call it, I did it. I got down and I needed it too. I've been going through, I'm under a lot of pressure. It's a lot going on in the world right now. You know what I'm saying?
Are you stressed out?
I'm not no more. How about that? Living better, doing better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stressed no more. Okay. I might not even be gay no more. I might even be Andrew Caldwell now. I'm not gay. I am delivered. I had enough. Okay. My cup runneth over. I am good right now. I'm good on the gay right now. What's going on?
You're good on the gay.
I'm good on the gay right now. Oh man. Happy belated Valentine's, bro. Now I would ask you how yours was, but I see that foliage and beautiful flowers behind you. So I'm assuming, you know what I'm saying, you had a good one too. How about that?
Listen, so these flowers are from me. So listen, the person that I am, Dustin, yes. I like to set the mood for myself. So
as you should.
So every 2 weeks on a bi-weekly basis, because I love all things bi, on a bi.
That's right.
I
call it double dutching.
Double dutch. A leap of faith. Yes. So okay. I can't fool with you. No, so I like to have flowers in my home. I like to make sure that my environment speaks to like love.
Yes. Yes. That's energy. That's energy, right? Yes. You can feel that and you can see it sometimes manifest in your life. Some of y'all, I don't know what the hell you got in your houses. You know, it must not be flowers. I don't know what they put in the way these people cutting up and acting crazy now, Carlos. Like some of these people did on this
Oh,
reunion. Okay. I don't know what kind of flowers they got or don't have in their homes, but we'll get to that.
well, let's get into it. So, first of all,
Mhm.
before we start on Love and Marriage Huntsville Part 3 reunion, I want to first celebrate you. It is Black History Month, and
Oh
you have
man.
recently announced that you have a live show at City Winery. Can you
Yes.
explain to me and the Raindrops what's it about the day, how we can get tickets to support you, and all those things?
I love you, brother. Thank you, man.
Of course.
So yeah, it's been a long time coming. For several years now, I've wanted to do like a one-man show style kind of stand-up comedy set. And God is good. You know, I have people in my corner that believe in me, and the beautiful people at City Winery have created a situation where I'm playing City Winery in New York. So on St. Patrick's
Which
Day
is
on
major.
Monday. Thank you,
I want the world to
friend.
know City Winery in New York City is nothing to
Thank
play
you,
with. I was
friend.
there with Teresa Judice. And so it's an iconic establishment. And they
Yes.
don't accept just anybody. So congratulations, but go ahead. I had to say
Thank you
that.
so much, my friend. Thank you. I'm just excited, man. I can't wait to make everybody laugh. So it's stand-up comedy. I'm telling a story that is actually a true story, and we're gonna laugh our way through it. So yes, the story is going to be interesting, and I won't give it away for those of you who are
Okay.
lucky. And I'm so grateful for you all to be in the building on Monday, March 17th. That's actually on St. Patrick's Day, here in New York City. One night only for now. But tickets are on sale now. The link is in my Instagram bio at Look at Dustin, and it's also on Twitter, which I'll call it forever and ever and ever. But yes, so I can't wait to see everybody, man. I'm so excited to get up there and tell some damn jokes, man. It's gonna be a good time, Carlos. So thank you
Oh,
for
I
letting me share
love
that,
it.
man.
Of course, of
Yes.
course, of course. And I can't wait to support you and all of that. Congratulations. It's nothing
Thank
to
you, my
sneeze
friend.
at. And
Thank
as you
you.
know, I adore you, and I'm so happy that God is continuously blessing you. This
Thank
is
you,
going to
my
be a good
friend.
year for you.
Thank you. I believe so too. I'm betting on myself. You know, we have to. We got to be able to sustain ourselves throughout this rocky sea that we are navigating right
Yeah,
now. So I'm really
yeah,
grateful and thankful for everybody that's making this happen, and grateful to God for the talent. And so now it's time to
yes,
just get up there and do what I came to do. So that's it, friend.
yes. Get up and do what you came to do, like I did at this reunion. So let's just get right
Yeah.
into it.
Ooh, I mean, get up, because you stood up and went over there and made it clear to him, nigga. I am telling you that I was like, Carlos has had it, and I completely understood at that point. I understood. You handled it with grace, but I was cussing on the other side of the TV. I'm telling you right now, man.
Yeah, so the reunion kicks off with as I sort of reflect on this season, right?
Yeah.
Um, it still fascinates me, the addition of Trisha and Ken, and
Mm-hmm.
how when we cast them, just not having any idea about this Martel connection,
Right.
and what was going on with it. And it's funny because Stormy, I don't know if people know this. Stormy recommended Trisha and Ken because Stormy and Trisha are friends. I believe, and I may have gotten this wrong. I don't think I have, but if I did, Stormy, leave me a comment, child. Uh, I believe Stormy was in. No. I believe Trisha was in Stormy's wedding to Courtney.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
that's how that no, they're friends. So shout out
Yeah.
to Stormy for recommending Trisha and Ken. Um, just the idea of having this sort of like newfound dynamic added to this cast was just so delicious to sort of like attain. And baby, part three kicked off with the Ken, Trisha, Martell of it all. What did you think about the fact that we touched on this a little bit last week with Martell's joke about, all right, let's leave it hot. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
lying. And Ken was like, I don't find that funny. And me
Yeah.
asking Ken, like, do you think Martell saying that presented this image that Trisha was a loose woman? And he said yes. But I want to ask you this. They denied having anything going on. What
Mm-hmm.
did you think about that? Is it something that you were like, okay, finally, this is put to rest and we can move on from it?
No, I think they lying even more now. I think they're lying even more, both of them. When it comes to
You
things like,
do?
oh, for sure. When it comes to things like whether or not you had sex with a person, there's a very clear and present um disposition of a person who that story is not true about, right? And both of them were looking like liars. Trisha is an eager liar. When she lies, she sits up. So when she was telling you that, no, not at that time, when she was doing all of that stuff, I was like, she's sitting up here lying her
The way
ass
you
off.
no, Dustin, I can't wait to see your live show because your impersonations are so funny to me. Your best one in history to me will always be Destiny Abadani. But what did Trisha do, Dustin?
Yeah, the cadence with which she was speaking when she was answering the questions was that of a liar. You asked her, like, did you have sex with Martel? Was he coming up to you? No, he did not at that time. And then she had the weakest argument I have ever heard. Why in the world? And this at this point, I was like, well, maybe she really didn't watch the show. But then I thought about it, like, Dustin, listen to what she's saying. She's telling on herself. You can't say you didn't watch the show and you don't know nothing, and then in the next breath say, no matter what people say about Martel, he wasn't like that with me. Well, how do you know what people say about Martel if you didn't even know that he was on this show and you didn't know him from the show, as you say, when he hit you up? Let's be clear about that whole situation. Martel and Chris Fletcher were talking about women, which is what male friends that date women do. They discuss beautiful women. Women that date
Absolutely.
men discuss beautiful men with their women friends. The gays discuss it. The lesbians, the theys, everybody. You discuss
The
attracting
gays definitely
you.
disgusted,
Oh,
baby.
and act on it. But so that happened, right? Him and Martel were having a conversation. He was like, "Yo, it's a." And Martel didn't say, "Hey, is there any ladies at the gym?" They was on the phone. Trisha walked past Fletcher, or either they spoke, because remember they're supposed to be cousins. They probably spoke. He probably was like, Martel, yeah, this is my cousin Trisha. She in here, she look good, because it was a playful banter. He hooked them up. Martel DM'd her. She knew exactly who Martel was, went over to their house, and they did whatever they did in that house. I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I know what I think happened. And I also, I'm a person that just watched the show. I don't pay attention to none of that online shit, the commentary. I
You
think it's great.
don't? Wait. Hold on. Are you telling me that you wait a second. Now all that online mess, you mean to tell me you don't look at that as an
I stay
affidavit?
away from it. I stay away
Shut
from it.
the
I watch
front
the
door.
show. So I've ended up seeing people, because I've been offering my commentary on the show in this capacity, which I'm so grateful to do. I get inundated with clips from people, right? And I never really see them because
Wait,
they
time
go to
out.
like my yeah.
Time out. I want to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be good because this concludes our love and marriage recaps, and obviously, me
Okay.
and Dustin will do other things on Mondays. But
Yes.
I want to ask you this: you obviously have watched the show since season one, day one.
Absolutely.
And every once in a while, prior to you being a regular, I will invite you, and
Yep.
I have your profile as it relates to your commentary on Mondays. What has it presented to you? Has it presented people sending you clips? Has it presented you being a topic on YouTube in terms of like other creators talking about the show? Like, have you been overwhelmed with sort of like feedback based on your commentary?
I have been overwhelmed
Really?
and inundated and drowned in feedback, but I welcome it, because you have to keep that into perspective. Well, at least for me, right? It's not personal. Just like I'm sitting up here giving my opinion on this show, people that are fans of the show and that run YouTube channels and Instagram accounts that are fan sites for the show, and they offer their opinion, they're going to have something to say about whether they agree with me or disagree with me or not. So I don't take that part personally. And I actually don't even look for it, because it's not my business. That's a conversation between them and the people that subscribe to or follow them. And I respect it, because it's not personal for me. As long as you don't disrespect me and it gets to me. You know what I'm saying? If it makes its way to me, that's another thing. But I'm not going out of my way to see it or anything like that. That's your space. So I get it. But because I don't pay attention to all of that, I did get clips of Marquez doing an interview somewhere where he was saying that he overheard Trisha allegedly speaking on the phone about her encounter with Martel, and confirming that they did more than she's saying that they did on this show. Me personally, when you're talking about two liars, three if we include Marquez, um, I don't necessarily believe it. I believe what the facts line up to most likely equate to. I don't believe
Mhm.
anything out of Martel's mouth. We know why. I don't believe anything out of Trisha's mouth. We've seen why in just one season. She is an overachiever when it comes to the speed of the lies, right? I've never seen somebody in one season tell so many lies, right? But here we are. Marquez is even faster than her because we only seen him about two,
Not a
three
race,
times.
not a
And that,
marathon.
listen, okay, when I tell you Sha'Carri, Flojo, okay, they all was on that stage. You know, Usain Bolt, they all was on that stage. So I I don't believe any of it. I definitely assume and believe based off of my assumption that Trisha and Martel definitely did more than they're admitting to. To me, it's quite simple and it's nothing to even lie about. You weren't with Melody. I don't know what Trisha was doing. You know what I'm saying? But just tell the truth about it. That's why when Martel actually first said, I'll tell the truth, we slept together, I was like, finally. You know what I mean? In my head. But then, of course, he followed it up and said that it was a joke, you know. But I just wish they would tell the truth because to me, if you ask me, they fucked. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing to be ashamed about. It was before Ken. Melody had already let go of that relationship. Like, just say what it was, and it's okay.
Okay, so that's how. Okay, so with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
if they did something,
Yeah.
right? The other flip side of that, though, Dustin, is they can say it's true if it is true because she wasn't with Ken and he wasn't with his ex-wife at the time.
Right. Right.
So, but so in their defense, why not be on? You know what I'm saying? Like if it happened, nobody is going to read them because they both weren't in relationships at the time.
So that's what I'm saying. Why not just say it happened? You
Well, that's
literally
what
have
I'm saying.
nothing to lie about.
I know, so they could be telling the truth because they have nothing to lose by lying. So,
Oh yeah, but that would
well,
be, but no, their character and what we've seen thus far doesn't reflect that type of reasoning and decision making, right? That's a person who is based in integrity and be, you know, they don't have any reason to lie, so why would they be lying? Unfortunately, we've seen enough from Martel and enough from Trisha that we don't believe what they say. So the question is, why wouldn't they be lying when you're dealing with people like that? And I can't find an answer other than the one that you just shared, but that's one when I have a myriad of red flags, you know what I'm saying, popping up in front of me, telling me that they actually did, you know, or I assume, again, I don't want to say it's true because I don't know these people personally and I don't know what did or didn't happen. But based on what I've seen on this damn show, they both lying. They've been lying. They lying together. They already lied together, which is what they lying about now. And so I don't believe any of it. Not 1 second.
when you saw the dynamic shift
Mm-hmm.
when Marquez came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the conversation about his participation in terms of his kid's life, in addition to how Trisha and Ken are involved in it. Marquez is very adamant, as he stated in this part three reunion, that I am the father, and he
Mm-hmm.
kept referring to Ken as the bonus man, which I obviously we know that word to be the bonus dad,
Right.
but he
Mm-hmm.
he refuses to even acknowledge the parental part because he feels like I'm the dad, I'm the father, and I'm not going to give you that. You're the bonus man. When it comes to that, I did see comments back and forth online about people really do feel there are people who feel like Marquez is the dad, and that Ken, at the end of the day, good guy or not, he needs to respect the boundaries that you're not these kids' father, bonus dad, stepdad, because you're not even married.
Mm-hmm.
Marquez is the kid's parent. What do you think about that? Do you think Marquez, at the end of the day, based on the fact that DNA wise he is their dad, does that mean that his role or decision should always trump that of Ken, who lives in the house, bought Xavier, their son, a car, and is very active in the daughter's dance recitals, and just appears to be a very active man in the household?
Yeah, I think that first of all, we're not going to play a game of semantics with this. We're also not going to argue over paternity, because the conversation is not about the paternity of those children, right? We understand fully that Marquez is the biological parent, the father of those children. Got it, right? But when he declares himself as such, it should be even more of a wake-up call of what he's not doing. No nigga, no man, excuse me, that elected to leave their home in 2021, right? Didn't he say he left the home in 2021 on the reunion
Yes,
stage? I believe that's
October
what he
of
said.
2021.
So this is currently 2025. Y'all filmed that in 2024. From
Correct.
October of 2021 to current present day, per what we've seen on the show and per what he said, what Ken has said, and what Trisha has said, we know that he's not an active presence in his children's life. We know that he is not the financial provider of his children's well-being. We know that he elected to leave the home. Those three facts absolve him of any sort of grace, for me personally speaking, any sort of anything, because again, we're not talking about who fathered the children biologically. We're talking about who's providing for them. We're talking about who's nurturing them. We're talking about who's making sure that their basic needs in life are met. We're talking about who's supporting their mama through her grief that she's still currently going through and dealing with. We're talking about being an active presence as a father figure in that household. And Marquez, you're not doing it. And you're not doing it because you chose not to. To me, man to man, ain't nothing he can say on that stage, because you're not taking care of your business. If you were, that would be a different conversation. And actually, it is shameful and abhorrent that he is trying to defend what? The paternity? What do you want for being, to me, you declaring yourself as the father of these children so many times? What is it going to take for you to understand you're the father of these children? So get up off your ass and take care of them. No, you and Trisha don't have to be together, but you can be in your kid's life and you can provide the financial assistance to support their basic needs. Then you can have a conversation with Ken. Until then, you can't. And I was happy that Ken was finally being blatant and honest and direct with his language that he was using. Playing that nice guy role was not working to his benefit. Okay. Marquez is a person that needs blunt force reminders, not blunt force trauma, but blunt force hard reminders. Like, you have to let him know you don't do nothing for these kids. You left this house in 2021. This is your fault that the relationship is broken between you and your children. How dare you assume a position of arrogance and haughtiness, or like somebody owe you something for being the biological father of these children by name only. No one owes you anything. You should feel worse about your absence. You should feel worse about how you lacking. And since it's about ego, all that beating your chest shit, I'm the father of them children. Well, where's your ego when you're watching another man literally take care of yours? Where's the
I
ego
think that's
when you're
the
not
thing.
getting up, going to work, getting the bread to assume the position? You can't complain about him taking care of your kids and then you don't take care of them, Carlos. If he goes tomorrow, what they gonna do?
I never looked at it that way. If Ken goes away tomorrow, well, I think that's the reason why in the finale episode he made that comment, right? Like, if I leave, of course I'm paraphrasing, but the struggling comment, and he
Let's
felt
talk about it.
very, he felt very,
It was time for him to
about,
show that, man. They've been beating
yeah,
this dude down all season. I know people get sensitive about that fatherhood,
yeah.
stepfatherhood, parent response, but that's about responsibility. That's about responsibility, and that's about taking action and making sure that these kids are okay. And if you're not doing that as a parent, whether you're the mother, the father, whatever the fuck, if you are not actively ensuring through financial resources, through time spent, and through physical activity, if you're not making sure that your kids are okay, you ain't got shit to say about how they're getting taken care of. To me, that's just how I feel. And I would never have children and not take care of mine. So I don't come from no family of men that do that. Like, I have zero respect for any man that don't take care of their children. So that's where I'm at with that whole situation.
Do you think Ken, because you brought up something a few minutes ago about the possibility of, finally Ken, stood up for himself. He's frustrated. He had it out.
Yeah.
Do you think Ken at this stage with
Mm-hmm.
the Martel jokes, right? With Marquez and him going at it. Him and Trisha having their situation. Do you think, as nice of a guy Ken is, that at this point he is just like fed up because there's only so much a man can take?
Absolutely. That's a human. That goes so far beyond even him being a man. That's a human thing, right? When you've been
Mm-hmm.
you've been demonstrating patience, exhibiting patience, you've been understanding as far as you can, you've really taken the time to support this woman through her traumas and been understanding, giving her grace for those, you can only take so much. And when you have someone whose disrespect is as blatant as Marquez is, when you have someone whose his ideas and his perception of what's going on, is the absurdity of it is heavy. You know what I mean? You can't believe it. I'm sure that Ken can't believe that Marquez is saying certain things that he's saying. That's just a lot. You know what I mean? And I do think he will reach, or maybe has reached, his breaking point at some point. My concern is that I hope that does not look like or materialize as the breakdown of his relationship with Trisha, because
Mm-hmm.
that can very easily transfer over into drama between the two of them, and we saw that in the season finale episode this season,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. So I don't want that break to go any further. I don't want them to damage their relationship behind someone else's inadequacy. You know what I mean? I hope that they are able to separate the two emotionally. That's my hope for them.
Yeah, no, mine too, mine too. Did you find it sweet, funny, cringy, whatever you want to use? When you saw Marquez hand Melody the flowers
Yeah,
and wants her to mentor him and talk about
yeah.
business.
Yeah, that was stupid. I thought it was stupid. It made for a good, quick laugh, and it added levity in a moment where you really needed it, right? And shout out to you and your hosting skills, because that's what that you was like, okay, let me bring something to this to add
Let me
some.
shift the energy, child.
Yes, and it did. And Melody, shout out to her. She was a good sport. She ain't think when I tell you Melody, it's not even on her radar anywhere. It is so far beyond her to even consider. She ain't thinking about that. She played along and gave a good moment for the show, and that shout out to her for that. But I think it's ridiculous. And once again, showing up empty-handed. He couldn't even bring no flower. If you did want to bring a flower, you had to give them to him, and he gave them to her. I think it used to be a term for that, when somebody give you something, you give it to somebody else, but I don't think we can say it
We
no
can't say
more.
that
But
no
you know
more.
what it is. Yeah. And so I don't think we can say that no more. But
No more,
he,
child.
he was he was doing, what that used to be called. And I thought it was ridiculous. It was just like him showing up to them kids party, offering shots to all the men in the room and making comments about, fatherhood and stuff off the liquor that Ken and them purchased for the event. It's just crazy to me, man. It is crazy to me. So I thought it was ridiculous, but Melody was a good sport about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. So then we shifted gears and we had a girls segment.
Yeah,
We spoke about the first ever Love and Marriage Huntsville girls trip, which, listen, it may have been 35 episodes of it, but I love the girls
it
trip.
was good. It was a good
It
trip. It
was
was.
good. It
Yep.
was good. The biggest thing that came out of that conversation was between Melody and Miss Nell, right? Just in terms of the comment that Miss Nell made when they were on the beach and Melody brought up the word Jesus. And then Miss Nell said, the fans have gone to her head. She's not comparing herself to Jesus. And Mel's like, look, you're the one who be walking around saying she's the queen, it's her show, blah, 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 blah. Talk to me about your whole perspective
Yes.
of that sort of back and forth.
I thought it was lighthearted, and I was happy for that, right? That's a situation that could have very easily turned into mud slinging and low insults, but it wasn't. It was lighthearted. I think what I took away from that was that Miss Nell is going to have to really identify her lane amongst the cast and kind of like stay in that. You know
Mm.
what I mean? It's very easy because it's not like Miss Nell is way older than everybody on the show, but there is an age difference. she has kids that date some of the cast members and stuff. So sometimes Nell wants to kind of play with the cast or engage in a way that makes them peers, and then other times Nell wants to be viewed as a mentor, as someone who is in an advisory position or a position of counsel, and the behavioral expectations of those two roles are completely different. So I'm not saying either one is for her. I think that's for Miss Nell to determine, and she will after watching this season. I believe Miss Nell to be the type of person that can watch this show and edit herself and note herself. And I think that next season she will have a more clear role. Either you're gonna be the matriarch figure, you're gonna guide these women and assume that position and stay up out the fray of mess, or you're gonna get in there and play ball with them ladies and y'all all on the same level. And I think that she'll be able to reconcile that amongst herself and or within herself, I should say, and show up a little bit differently next season. Because I like Miss Nell and I like Chris and Nell on the show. I want to continue to see their family. I want to dig deeper into the layers of that family because there's a lot going on there with those adult children who have their own full lives. So I would love to see the maternal, motherly Nell in that way. What way are you advising your children? Which way are you involved in what's going on in their life? You say that you helped and given all this money and stuff. How else have you helped? How else are you helping? Let's see you in relationship with all of the people that were at that dinner table when we first got to know the members of your family. I want to see those branches from Nell and Chris next season, as opposed to them kind of like mingling when they want to with the mess. Here's an example. Nell telling Martel, even though it was funny, Nell telling Martel, well, quit hollering in my damn ear. You know what I mean? That was funny.
Yeah.
But you were serious. You weren't saying it in a funny way. You were saying it seriously. And there's no way for him to really engage with you on that level for real, for real. It just seems imbalanced. So I just want to see Nell just pick a side and stay there with it. You know what I'm saying? Either be
That's interesting.
this figure or get in the mix with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Either one of the two.
Yeah. And she has the propensity to do both. But what is fascinating about Miss Nell that I agree with you on is, listen, Miss Nell to me is like a Karen Huger, right? And when I say that, because you know they love to talk about the other stuff, when I say that is what you said. She's somebody who may be a couple of years older than some of the cast members,
right?
But she does hold herself in this high regard. You know, not like Grand Dame-ish, but more so like maybe a little bit authoritative in a sense. And I do think I never thought about this until you just said it. There is something fascinating about, she definitely, in my opinion, just based on everything happening with the show and what we've seen so far, now that she is a full-time cast member.
Yeah.
I think prior to Miss Nell being a cast member, this is my opinion, I do think she regarded herself as like the queen bee of Huntsville. And when I say of Huntsville, meeting somebody before this show became about was very integral. You know what I'm saying? Before there was people loving of status, like how Karen Huger, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm bringing the Karen Huger part of it. Like regarding herself, she was older than some of these girls. And you know, her marriage and what Chris did in the community and all those things. And I think to your point, the moment she became a full-time cast member, you're good, Dustin. I think the cast say, well, Miss Thing, you on the same level as us. Like, we ain't about to bow down to you. And I think that's the reason why you see this struggle of authority, because listen, with Kimberly Scott and Miss Nell on the first day of the girls' trip, listen, I think Kimmy said,
you ain't my mama.
You ain't my mama. We're not at a foundation that you're on the panel of, on the board.
Yeah.
I've been on this show for 6 years. Because I think of Kimmy's mind. Kim was like, baby, listen. Before this show, you may have been that girl, but I'm telling you right now, I'm an OG. I'm 6 years in. I'm 6 years in. So if I'm having a conversation with my sister-in-law and Mel about these rooms and how I feel disrespected, I don't need you newbie to come in and even give 2 cents there, because this is history right here.
That's what I'm saying.
And Yes, go ahead.
I believe Kimmy made that point even further when they were just when you all not that you sitting right here when you all were discussing the room situation and you asked Kimmy if she felt like it was disrespectful that Melody had chosen those rooms and Kimmy broke that shit down so smooth. She said, "Well, yes," and it goes beyond being an OG. We filmed with Melody in her backyard for nothing when she was trying to
Mm-hmm.
make this show happen, and that put things in a different context for me. You got to respect the game a little bit in that way. And Carlos, you know how I feel about that. People give you opportunities, people open doors for you. There is a reverence that should exist based on your gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you kiss anybody's ass because it's never that.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
But you consider that when things when decisions are made and when it is time to consider how you receive or handle people, you show that you care, you show that you're grateful for whatever by the way that you handle them. And so when Kimmy said that, like, no, we shot this for nothing in her backyard because we believed in what she said, I felt like that could have been reflected in, decisions like that. That made perfect sense to me. And
Mm-hmm.
we know Melody did that because she was mad at them. She wasn't really fucking with them like that. And it was an opportunity for her to kind of take a little dig, and she did. You know what I'm saying? But I was glad Kimmy said how she felt about it and was clear. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that conversation between the two of them, and Melody received it.
Yeah. No. And but to me, that was why I wanted to highlight the girls' trip specifically. And obviously I could have spent a whole entire hour talking about the girls' trip.
Right.
Um, because so many things happen on the girls' trip. But I do think at the end of the day, what that segment showed everybody, and I've always said this in nauseum, that they can get into it, blah, 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 boom. But when they allow themselves to be heard, they do have this thing to where they sit back, take it in, and oftentimes say, I got you. Just like when Mel told Miss Nell, like, I want you to know that, I care about you. Like, we're good. Like, I need you to understand that and hear that. Because I think she knew too that Miss Nell needed to hear that. And Miss Nell was able to receive it. And I do think that sometimes, this is why I'm really big on this. A
Mm-hmm.
lot, a, a lot of confusion and complications can be settled just by a conversation.
Let's
I
have a
tell
real
people all the
conversation.
time, let's have a real conversation, right? I tell people all the time, if you have my phone number, because a lot of folks don't,
Mm-hmm.
and you have an issue with me, and you don't pick up the phone and dial those 10 digits, you don't have a real problem with me. Like there's no real issue because you should be able to call me and say, hey, I feel this way, or let's talk about this. And that's why I felt in this segment, I appreciate that they all were able to be like, look, let's have a conversation about this. And then we saw how they were able to move on from it. And that to me was the beauty of that particular segment.
Well,
Um,
I
Go
think
ahead.
that is because like that's a conversation that if Melody wanted to continue that and go back and forth with Miss Nail and continue to express the fact that she never considered her a mentor, that would have kept going. What
Yes.
stopped that conversation, what tied it up in a way that was beautiful and shows what maturity looks like. Melody zoomed out in that moment. She was like, you know what? Let me zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. Instead of me debating what her presence was or her role in my life, what she's communicating to me is that she feels underappreciated by what I said. So let her know she's appreciated, and also let me apologize for the way that what I said made her feel, because that's what I need to message to her right now. She told Kimmy to be quiet, I believe it was, to make sure that Miss Nell heard her. And
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
said it, and Miss Nell received it. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to zoom out, get out of your own ego and feelings, and measure how much you value the relationship, give grace, and correct the issue. And that's maturity. So I actually thought that was a beautiful moment between the two of them on that stage. And it was
Mm-hmm.
up. She told her, Miss Nell received it, and they moved the fuck on. That's what I
Yes.
like to see. So yeah,
Yes. We then had our surprise guest debut.
Stormi. She looked beautiful, by the way. Stormi doing so good. When I
Oh,
tell you Stormi is doing good, Carlos. Shout out to
oh,
Stormi. I love seeing that shit. Good for her. She
and
looked beautiful.
I love Stormy with jet black hair.
Me too. That dark hair was so becoming on her. She looked beautiful. She did. She
That's the
really
hair you
did.
want Mia to have.
Yes, please. I do. I'm telling you, that blonde don't do nothing. And I don't know shit about hair. I just know what I'm seeing. And I don't like that blonde shit on me. She looks so much prettier with dark hair. She has dark features, you know what I'm saying? Dark eyes, and she looks good with
Mm.
that dark hair. I like
I
that.
love the
Yeah,
baby Stormy. I love Jet Black on Stormy. She looked
yeah,
gorgeous.
she
And what
did
was so interesting about Stormy that I just thought was so beautiful? Number one, the fact that she even decided to show up.
for sure.
We reached out and was like, look, we want to be able to give you your sort of like say in regards to your time on the show. And to Stormy's credit, and I always give the cast their credit because at the end of the day, it's their decision to appear all the time. The fact that she said, I'll do it, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it,
Mm-hmm.
goes to show you the love that she has for the production, the love that she
Yes.
has for the show. And she even said, like, I love this show. I love
Yes.
everybody on the stage.
Yeah.
Stormy is just the thing about Stormy, and we'll get into the next part of her being on the stage. Stormy is beautiful inside and out. Stormy has a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it comes to Stormy, what they saw on part 3 was a woman who is happy. Like she looks happy and just content. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing negative. There's no negative
Mm-hmm.
cloud when it comes to her. Like she looks very much like I'm happy and I love you guys. I love this show. And she even said it. She said, like, look, there's a lot of negativity that comes with being on this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That in addition to I'm busy, I have a lot going on. She talked about the amazing success she's having on TikTok
Yeah.
and making history. But what I love about her was at the end of the day, she decided to come back on the platform that some of her audience was introduced to her as and really give the show, the cast, and everybody their flowers. And, that's what you hope for someone like a Stormy. So I wanted to say that. One of the biggest things that we also wanted to do, and I know the audience have been asking about this, and
Mm-hmm.
y'all know, once again, I'll say it in nauseum. I can't tell y'all everything. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stop harassing me, please. So we obviously wanted to honor Kiki Jabar.
Yes.
And that was something that, as you guys saw in the flashback, we did film it. It was Letitia's idea.
Mm-hmm.
When that situation occurred,
Mm-hmm.
we gave Tisha time to process because at the end of the day, that was somebody who she considered to be a sister.
Yes.
The love they have for each other was deeper than that of cousins. They were really sisters. And I told the production, like, you leave Tisha alone in the sense of like, don't contact her, give her time. I respectfully did not contact Tisha when it happened because when something like that happens, you're in your data with so many phone calls and text messages, and I don't want her
Yeah.
to feel overwhelmed.
I
So as
completely get it.
I
Completely.
contacted Marcel personally to check in on Tisha because I wanted Tisha to like get off her phone and to process something like that. And me and Marcel had a conversation, and I said to him too, like, let her know I reached out, but also let her know too that we're here if she needs anything. And then Tisha said, I would like to honor her. And we filmed it. And, we when something like that happens of this magnitude, we want to obviously respect it. And I thought that the reunion was a perfect place to have everybody present. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? To really
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
have everybody present, to really honor her in what I felt was the most proper,
Mm-hmm.
dignified way. And that was at the reunion. And Tisha agreed to that. We ran it by her, and she said,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm cool with that. And I was happy that we were able to really have people talk about it and the revelation as well that Stormy did pay for the funeral because again, Stormy is just a nice person and
Yeah, for
and and
sure.
she really does have a big heart.
That was beautiful to see, man. First of all, much respect to Kiki's family, her entire
Amen.
family. God bless her children.
Amen.
She loved her children, and we saw that be consistently shared from her since we were introduced to her. Um, my heart goes out to Tisha, to Marceau, Maurice, Kimmy, everybody that knew Kiki. You know what I'm saying? But especially her family. She very bravely shared some really personal shit over her time on this show. And it was just heartbreaking, of course, to see that happen in her life. So God bless Kiki and her entire family, man. And I think that my heart just goes out to Tisha. You know what I'm saying? Because I really think that it had to be difficult to not be in the best place with someone so close to you and in such a public way when they passed. That's a lot on you. We know that Tisha loved Kiki and Kiki loved Tisha. We just were privy to some of the breakdowns in their relationship that we all go through. But that was family shit. You know what I mean? And I just know, my heart goes out to her, to the whole family, but to Tisha too. And I think the lesson here for everybody, right, especially the people on the cast, this life is real and it's much bigger than petty disagreements. It's much bigger than petty arguments. And that's why you don't say certain things in the heat of the moment in arguments that don't make no damn sense and are too heavy, and use words that are impactful in a negative way and dangerously weaponize words and arguments, because you never know what's going to happen. That should be a wake-up call to everybody on that cast and everybody watching that show to give people grace, have a little sensitivity, and be resolution based when you're in conflict. People are going to get on your nerves. You're going to have disagreements and you're going to address some of them, right? But there's a way to do it where you stay above the point of no return, because you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next in life. And so that's the lesson that I think a lot of people, that's one lesson that I think a lot of people can take from this and use in a positive way that'll look like just fostering better relationships and showing up better for people as a friend, as a family member, or whatever, even in times where you're not the most happy with one another. That's the lesson. And it's just very, very sad to see that tragic outcome for her. And my heart just goes out to the whole family, man. But I think you all did a beautiful job at respectfully addressing her passing and giving her some respect and some reverence and some love. I think the reunion stage was the perfect place to do it because all of the eyes are on it, and it represented a unified showing of respect, but based on the cast in the show. I appreciated that. So y'all did a good job, man. Y'all really did. And shout out to Stormi.
Thank you. Yeah, no, shout out, like you said, listen, our hearts, thoughts, and prayers obviously go out to Kiki's entire family, her husband, her children, most importantly. And listen, it's why anybody who knows me, at the end of every single reunion, I have always hosted. I have always elected to say my favorite words to them. Things are not that deep. Y'all can throw shade, boom, 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 have it out, boom, 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 right? But life is too short, you know, and you and I have had personal experiences recently that really dictates that too. And that's why for me, listen, I've always tried to implore that to all of my cast across all my shows, and even because I'm the Nell Fletcher of reality stars. I'm their mentors.
Look, whether they asked or not, God damn it, that's
whether
right.
Whether or not, honey, it's not on the calendar. But if y'all only knew how many reality girls and guys be DMing me, Carlos, I need advice. I'm like, what somebody did me last week. I need some advice. I'm like, yes, baby, what you want, child? So, you know, I do. So I sell that to say, I always try to implore to them, life is too short.
Yes.
And I literally, Dustin, had this conversation with somebody before this this Monday Night Live we're doing. There's two people who are beefing, and this woman I was talking to, she said, you have so much hate for this person. Did they do something to your children? Did they sleep with your man? Like, you have so much venom. Like, what did they do? If you feel like they did this, why haven't y'all addressed it together? And I said to her that sometimes people, listen, that's why the word misery loves company is a real thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, what's unfortunate is there are people who exist in this world who love to sit in misery because it provides something to them, or they want to sit within the anger or the upsetness or whatever, because what people don't realize, it feeds something in them that they are enjoying in the moment. And that's why I always use the reunions as a way of having everybody address their issue. And I all of the ways, each segment, as much as I can, try to say to them, like, but is it that deep? Is it that deep? Is it to the point where there isn't a point of no return? And listen, there are cases, obviously, where that is the case, right? Like there's certain things, like you said, where you say something that is so like abhorrent that you can't move past it, and I get that. 98% of any reality show, I always feel like there's ways for you to move on, because what you don't want to happen is for someone to not be here on this earth, and you sit back and say, was the shade worth it? Was me being shady for, let's be real, for a moment? Was me trying to have a moment worth me not reconciling with this person, in the sense of saying, listen, we good. You go here, I'll go here, and we're gonna leave each other alone.
And that really leaving each other alone, like really just being done with it.
Done with it. And my hope for all reality stars is, when you guys have these shade moments and stuff, at the end of the day, always trying to find a way to resolve it, because 98% of the time, there is room for forgiveness.
Yeah, it's bigger than winning an argument, y'all. There's more at stake and more at play here when it just comes to who you are as a person. So
yeah,
that's what I got from that. I'm wearing purple today for her, for our recording. Shout out to Kiki, Jabar, and her family, her beautiful children. Much love to them, and just God bless them. And that's what I want to say about that.
Yes. No, I concur. So this also concludes part 3. And what better way to conclude the reunion than celebrating Marceau? I love Marceau. And what I want the world to know is this, and this is so funny. I remember season 1, when Marceau did a scene. It was season 1, episode 1. Marceau did a scene with Martel and Maurice. The couples were having dinner at Kimmy and Maurice's house. The ladies were in the kitchen and the guys were on the back porch. And they were talking about like marriage and stuff. Long story short, Marceau made a comment about like, it's not his role to pick up the kids, that's Tisha's role and whatever. I remember Roland Martin finding that scene on Twitter. And it was this insane debate. Roland Martin read the mess out of Marceau. And so did half of the world, more than half actually. And Marceau just had this reputation of being this caveman. He got read for Phil. What I always tell all my stars, and even being their mentors in some cases, is you can have a bad season. Next season they're gonna love you. Next season after that they're gonna hate you. Never get caught up in the comments, because it goes like this.
It does.
I find it to be so amazing that people have finally caught on to the lovable asshole.
Yeah, people understand his rhythm now.
He is so funny to me. And we did film it on his birthday, his 45th birthday, and I thought it was just a perfect bow to this amazing season. This season has been off the fucking chain.
It was definitely a roller coaster. One for the books.
Happy. Oh, absolutely. This season will go down in history as one of the most talked about seasons.
Yep.
And shout out to my entire cast and crew for making this show the GOAT that it is. And I wanted to say that to them as well.
Can't wait for next season. We want more. I can't wait for next season, and the season after that, and the season after that, and the season after that, and the new cities and all that stuff. I can't wait. So I'm so excited.
Yes. There's a lot going on. So listen, you guys gotta wait till next season to find out what's happening. Because guess what? I ain't gonna talk about it. And I know you don't want me to. And guess what? I'm not going to. And the only way you're going to find me talking about it is when the show comes back. Okay.
That's right.
But what I will say to y'all, next up, you will have an announcement about Love and Marriage Detroit and where the rest of the season is. So I'll give y'all that tonight.
Coming soon. Coming soon. I love coming soon. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Dustin, not tonight. Anyway, and I wanna thank Dustin Ross
Thank you,
for
Carlos.
your constant comedic skills, your
Thank you,
wisdom,
friend. Thank
your
you.
wealth of knowledge when it comes to this show. Monday Night Live has been so fun with you. I'm so happy we got a
Thank
chance to do
you.
this again.
Me
And
too,
I
Carlos.
literally can't imagine talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville without you.
Thank you. I love the show. Shout out to all the cast, the incredible cast, the passionate ass fans. Shout out to all of y'all. Like all of those ingredients I needed to make this amazing show be what it is. So, job well done to everybody involved, man. And I'm blessed to be a part of this conversation. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Kingdom Reign Entertainment. Thank you, Carlos the King. I'm so grateful. So, I look forward to much, much more, man. Thank you for an amazing season.
Yes, yes. Thank you, guys. And listen, guys, Monday Night Live is not over, so you will
Yeah.
see us again. And who knows, we may bring on some guests and we may, have some themes going on. So we'll see you guys again next Monday. Raindrops, I love y'all deep, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye.